whether the river system, you are a direct customer to the river system, or if you're a secondary, the more that we can ship down the river will increase your basis.
Welcome to Illinois Corn TV. My name's John Clem, and I'm the District 7 Director for the Illinois Corn Marketing Board. On this show, we bring you informative ag interviews to position Illinois farmers to grow. We've broken the show up into two parts, so let's get started with part one. Our featured interview is with Jim Tarmann. Jim is the Managing Director at Illinois Corn. This week, we talked all about Jim's role in the significance of trade for Illinois farmers and the role of locks and dams. So let's jump into the interview. Thanks for joining us here on Illinois Corn TV. Glad to have you. Look forward to maybe digging in a little deeper about some of the things that you do here and what Illinois Corn does for the state of Illinois.
Sure. Excited to be with you here, John.
Okay. Let's start by maybe getting to know who Jim is a little bit better. Tell us about yourself and your time here at Illinois Corn.
So, real brief, I grew up on a small corn and soybean and cattle farm just north of Bloomington Normal. Graduated from high school, attended a junior college, and received my degree in animal science from Illinois State University. From there, I went to work for Growmark at the research farm, and then as a sales and key account specialist for them before I started with Illinois Corn some 31 years ago. So I guess I'm one of those tenured staff members here at Illinois Corn.
Oh, great. So 31 years. Lots of different experiences and programs I'm sure that you've worked on. Maybe share a couple highlights, whether those are highs or lows, but some really key things have been projects that Jim's name has been tied to here at Illinois Corn.
Sure. So when I first started, a lot of what we're doing and continue to do to this day is around ethanol, though I know we're not going to focus on ethanol today, but it's always been one of those issues that, if you will, gets our foot in the door because it's such a high profile issue, and as I said, it continues to be. So in my early days, besides working on getting members and retaining members within the association, I did a lot of work with ethanol, as all of us did here in the office. And probably one of the things that I felt really good about was just talking to the general public about ethanol and higher blends. And I went through the whole era of high ethanol blends of E85 and things like that until we were approached about infrastructure issues, namely our waterways and some of the delays and reliability problems we were having within the state on moving product, which is where I started exploring and looking into that issue and how much it was actually costing Illinois farmers.
Right. I'm glad you brought up ethanol. You're right. Maybe we'll discuss that more in a different episode. We live and die by it, but without the transportation of our products, we couldn't take some of the byproducts from ethanol and the grains itself. And so I think that's where what you're referring to is the waterway system in Illinois is hugely critical to the export of our markets and ultimately the trade industry and what that does for the Illinois farmer. So locks and dams have been a special project for you, is my understanding. If a farmer is standing there and he says, well, that lock and dam, that's on the river, that's not important to me, how are you going to explain to them that the importance of the lock and dam system to their local farm?
So whether the river system, you are a direct customer to the river system, or if you're a secondary, the more that we can ship down the river will increase your basis. It's all about supply and demand, and if you're getting rid of more somewhere else, that means that your prices where you're at, somebody's going to have to bid it higher. So kind of just to give a little background, most of the locks and dams and how we got started was in our investigation, we found out that, most of the locks and dams were built in the 30s and 40s. They were estimated at useful life of 50 years. So you can imagine if you do the math, we're looking at locks and dams that are well over that, 70 or 80 years old. And those inefficiencies and reliability problems were costing producers 8 to 10 cents a bushel. And that might not sound much to the common person, but if you take that times production and acres that the average farm, I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars of inefficiencies. So we had to look at this elephant and take one bite at a time. So a lot of our early on investigation was focused around educating the general public and our members to that matter. So one of our key programs that we started in 1995 was our Barge Tours. And in that we did those for roughly 15 years, and during that time frame, we gave the general public, 25,000 people of the general public, an opportunity to see firsthand some of the critical issues that we were facing with our lock and dam infrastructure. And it just wasn't on a pleasure boat that we took people on. It was an actual working barge pushed by a line boat from industry. So it became, really over 2 or 3 period, the education process and through our survey work, the knowledge of how important our river system is to Illinois was like flipping a light switch. Everybody goes, wow, I didn't even think about that.
Now let's move on to part 2. Not to be corny, but why did the corn stalk decide to change careers?
Sean, I have no idea.
Because he wanted to change fields.
Keep your day job,
Yeah.
man.
This has been another episode of Illinois Corn TV, where we deliver insightful ag interviews positioning farmers to grow. Stay tuned for more content every week, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week.